Perfect. Audio is rolling, cameras are rolling, kid is in gear. All right, my name is Bruce. I'm a park skier from Ontario. For those of you guys who don't know me, here's some clips. The kid having fun out in the hill. And yeah, today we're going to cover the first 5 tricks you should learn getting on skis in the train park. I decided to make this video because my little brother was trying to get into park skiing and he was searching up how to get into it and how to start park skiing. And there was not really any good new or recent videos about how to actually get into park skiing and what tricks you should learn and all that stuff. So I thought I'd just, hop in the old podcast studio and dab one up for you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I would say is the most important when getting into park skiing and getting comfortable in the park, and probably the easiest and safest trick you can get used to, is just hitting boxes. Some of you guys might think boxes are super easy, and they are. They're not something that's very intimidating. You can 50-50 them and not be in any danger whatsoever. They're a little easier than jumps. You don't have to worry too much about forward pressure or anything like that or popping properly. You kind of just hop on. So the first thing you should learn in park skiing is really getting comfortable in boxes. And when I mean comfortable in boxes, I mean sliding them like rails. This will get you comfortable for hitting real rails, and it'll get you comfortable just skiing park in general and getting used to the vibe. For me, I'm a huge advocate for learning every single trick both ways. So if you're ski sliding it one way, you should know how to ski slide it the other way. Not only does this help for spinning, and in the future, if you ever want to get into it seriously, like filming or competing or anything like that, you really should be able to spin and do tricks both ways. Some people, when they first get started in the park, they just spin one way and they just grind rails one way, but it really bites you in the ass later on because then you try to do switch ups and you're landing your wrong foot forward and you're not comfortable grinding that way, and you're trying to do spins the wrong way, and then you have no air awareness to the right or to the left, whatever is you're on that. Also, when you spin one way and you're comfortable spinning the other way too, it helps with landing and looking over your shoulders well. So yeah, the first thing is definitely getting comfortable, sliding boxes, both feet forward, right and left foot forward, and just hopping off your switch. That's all you gotta do. Just have fun with it. The second trick you should learn on skis is 180s on jumps. Getting used to jumps and doing 180s on them is huge. Like I said before, huge advocate of always. Find a small jump. Find like a 10-foot jump, 5-foot jump, this big. You only catch like 2 to 3 feet of air. Work on all-way 180s. I mean, switch 180s, forward 180s, both ways. Really work on that. Like I said, it gets you comfortable spinning both ways, gets you comfortable looking over each shoulder and popping all 4 directions, which will help when you come off rails, go onto rails, when you end up doing switch-ups, when you end up doing bigger tricks in the future off jumps. Some of you guys might think 180s are pretty hard, especially all ways. This is kind of like first 5 tricks you should know. If you're a pretty competent skier, you might never have done park before, but you at least have to be somewhat competent. And for most people, all-way 180s, if you spend 1 week on a little jump, you'll have it no problem. Like, no problem whatsoever. All right, third trick you should learn is hitting real rails. Just step it up. By now, you should be comfortable with sliding boxes both ways forward and hopping off switch and forward off the boxes. Like, super comfortable with it. You've done it for a couple weeks now. You know what you're doing. You got good pressure on your feet. So it's time to take it to a rail. You probably shouldn't start on the biggest rail in the park. Obviously not the best idea. Start on one of the littler rails. Some parks have really good small rails like this big. Maybe that's a little under exaggeration. Like 4 or 5 feet long. Instead of going straight into like a down bar that's like 10, 15 feet long, try to find a small flat bar, something that resembles a box, and really work on hopping on and getting comfortable grinding the rail instead of a box. Getting comfortable pedaling your feet, because that's how you end up doing back twos and front twos. I would say part of the third trick you should learn is front twos and back twos. So the third trick you should learn is how to grind rails properly and do front twos and back twos out of real rails. You should be able to do them somewhat out of boxes before you even move on to the rail, just so you have that confidence built up. And let's be real, it's pretty similar between a rail and a box for grinding it. All you have to do is work on pedaling your front foot for the back two and the front two. It's all in dipping the toe or the heel and looking over your shoulder or looking around your shoulder. All right, so fourth trick you should learn in the park is spinning 540s. Like I said over and over again, I'm going to keep putting it into you guys' heads. You should really spin all 4 ways and you should really get comfortable doing it. It helps so much. It takes a little longer to get better at tricks. Your friends might get a little bit ahead of you, but really, really work on getting everything all 4 ways. 540s all 4 ways is a pretty big step for most people, so I would say maybe only focus on doing a forward 540, maybe a switch 540 if you're really comfortable hitting jump switch, but that is a little harder, especially for people just getting into park. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a big jump. You don't have to be doing it off 60-foot outback jumps. You don't have to be doing it off 30-footers. You pick a small jump. Pick a 10 to 15-foot jump that you're going to get 5 feet of airtime. You have enough time to get it around. It's not a hard fall if you eat it, and it's a great place to learn. Then when you're comfortable with them, obviously you can take it to bigger jumps and throw in grabs. The 5th trick I would tell you guys to learn in the train park is switch ups because they're huge. And if you guys did step 3 properly and you guys can front 2 and back 2 and you spent your time doing it both ways and you've grinded rails and boxes both ways for a little while now, front swaps and back swaps aren't going to be the hardest thing. Yes, they're a little intimidating, but like I said, you can try them on boxes. You can try them on thicker rails that have more to deal with. And if you guys are already comfortable with the front 2s and back 2s, it's the same thing as pedaling your foot. For the front swap, you pedal the heel just like you would the front 2, and then instead of doing a front 2, you just hop to the end of the rail. Literally, when I first learned how to do front swaps and back swaps, I was doing it with the last foot of the rail. I was just tapping the end of the rail. I was doing a front 2 and just barely tapping the end of the rail. And as you get more comfortable doing it, work your way up the rail and do it halfway up the rail, do it in the middle of the rail, and get those swaps really dialed in. Like I said, you should really try to do them all ways, but that is going to be harder considering there are front swaps and back swaps. Unnat back swaps, unnat front swaps are definitely a trick that comes later on when you get really good and consistent. I got one last tip for you guys that I think would really help you guys out getting into park. It's a tip that I really just picked up this year that's helped me get way more consistent and get all my tricks like really dialed in for the season and stuff. So I would say my pro tip of the day would be to just go to the hill and pick one trick for that day. I know it sucks and it's not something you want to do. You don't have to do it the whole day, but pick one feature and one trick, and for like 3/4 of the day, work on that. You can do other tricks on the hill and other parts of the park. You can do everything else at the top, at the bottom, but that one rail, you should really just focus on that one trick and get it dialed in. I know it gets frustrating and I know it takes a long time to do it, especially if it's a new trick that you haven't done before. It'll take that time, but once you get it and you do it 4 or 5 times and then you do it 10 or 15 times, you can take it to another rail. You can take it to another part of the park. And it's not something you're going to forget. So yeah, that's how I'd approach progressing at the fastest possible rate. I hope that helped you guys. And if you like this video, drop a like, hit the little subscribe button or whatever you got to do. But definitely smash that notification bell because otherwise I just get rammed and you guys don't get to see my videos. I also got tons of content of me skiing, vlog style, I guess, if you want to call it episodes of Living with the Kid. And I do a podcast called Banged Up. If you look up there, super fun times with the kids. So you might as well smash that bell and that subscribe button and just treat yourself to a great time. Much love.